What I was going to say about the Chiefs was, believe it or not, they're 2-2, and they're in last place in their division. Now, obviously, that's a little bit misleading, but because it's still early. But you got the Broncos, the Chargers, and the Raiders are all 3-1. So the Chiefs are only a game behind, but they did lose to the Chargers a week ago, which puts them kind of one game down in that division. They haven't played the Raiders or the Broncos yet. The Chiefs. Everybody says the Chiefs are going to be fine, and yeah, they scored 42 points this week and beat the Eagles 42-30, and they did that without Travis Kelce really being as productive as he usually is. But Tyreek Hill was the guy that kind of went off last Sunday. The Chiefs' offense is kind of like a video game offense. They're going to score their points, all right? But what I'm concerned about is their defense, and I think the Chiefs might be in a little bit of trouble this year because their defense is not very good at all, and you're going to have to stop some people. I mean, there's just no way around it. I know they've gotten by with it the last 3 years, but all it takes is a game where a Travis Kelce doesn't do well, or a Tyreek Hill pulls a hamstring, or something like that, and now you're up against the 8-ball. But we're going to find out about the Chiefs Sunday night too, because this is a game of two teams that played for the AFC Championship last year. One that looks to be on a roll in the Bills, the other one that looks to be trying to right the ship and stay relevant. I think the winner of that game is going to come out feeling pretty good about themselves.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to, like you said, I guess the Chiefs have been getting by with the defense they have the last few years, but
right.
It's hard to really imagine a team going deep in the playoffs that has given up in the first 4 weeks 29 points, 36 points,
right.
30 points, 30
right.
points.
Right, exactly.
And they can't really afford to go 2-3. I feel like because the Chargers play the Browns. I think the Chargers should win that game, but the Browns are 3-1 also.
Right.
So that might be a little tough. The Chargers can maybe drop to 3-2. Let's see who the Raiders play next week. The Raiders play. They're 3-1 also.
They play the Bears.
They play the Bears, so
yeah.
I think they should win that game.
Right.
So my point is, I mean, I think it's likely the Raiders and Chargers both win. So they can improve to 4-1, and if the Chiefs lose, they drop to 2-3. I mean, it's as each week goes by, it's looking worse and worse for the Chiefs to win the division.
No, it really does. And
the Broncos, I'm not too concerned about, to be honest. For whatever reason, they're not going to stay where they're at in my mind.
No, they play the Steelers this week, and I think that's going to be an interesting game because it's in Pittsburgh. Let me step back. I think the two games you mentioned, the Chargers and the Raiders. Not so much the Raiders because they're playing the Bears. Bears have announced that Justin Fields is going to be their starter for the rest of the season. So They're playing a rookie quarterback. I think the Raiders probably win that game without too much trouble. But I think the other two games are going to be interesting because you've got the Broncos at the Steelers and you've got the Chargers hosting the Browns. Now, the reason I say they're going to be interesting is because you look at the Chargers playing the Browns. That's a key game for both teams, right? The Browns are 3-1. The Chargers are 3-1. The loser of that game, the question marks are starting to come out, especially if it's the Browns. Last week they struggled to beat the Vikings. Baker Mayfield did not have a good game, even by his own admission. He played very poorly. Jarvis Landry is still out.
Played, didn't he?
Beckham played, but they did not. They struggled to beat the Vikings.
They struggled to beat the Texans.
Correct. So if they lose this game, I think you're going to start to see, hey, are the Browns do they really have a chance to go as far as people thought they did? Now, if the Browns win this game, I think you're going to start wondering about the Chargers can they win that division? So that's going to be a very, very important game, even though it's only week 5. The other one is obviously the Chiefs, the Chiefs and the Bills, but also the Broncos at the Steelers. And why do I say that? Well, if the Steelers lose this game at home, they're 1-4. And you can pretty much kiss goodbye any chance of them winning the division, all right? The Broncos, we said we don't know if they're for real or not. If they win, hey, you got to give them kudos and say, hey, they got a chance to win this division. If they get blown out or get beat rather badly, then that kind of questions their validity.
Well, first of all, I'm going to predict. I think the Steelers win this game. All right,
I think so too.
I think they've underperformed the last few weeks, the Steelers. So I think they're a little better than what they've shown. I think the Broncos have overperformed. But maybe not even so much overperformed. I mean, look at the Broncos. They beat the Giants week 1.
Right.
They beat the Jaguars. And they beat the Jets.
Right.
3 of the worst teams in the NFL. No offense to you.
No, you're right.
And then the Ravens beat them 23-7.
Right.
So I think I think they're just going through kind of the easy part of their schedule, and they're winning as they should, but that's all that is.
That's right.
So the Steelers is the first game I would say outside the Ravens, which they lost, where it's a little bit better of a team, even though the Steelers are not that great. I'm no matter what happens this week, especially if the Broncos win, though, they got to then play the Raiders.
Right.
Let's see what they do in that game.
Right.
And I think you'll see in that game. I think the Raiders are going to kill them.
Yeah, and based on everything you just said, I think the Broncos. I agree with everything you said. I think the Raiders are a really good team, but having watched them Monday night against the Chargers, I just don't get the feeling that the Raiders can win that division. Okay.
Yeah.
I really think the Chargers are going to be the key to this. They have tremendous talent on offense. They have a really good defense, and they've already beaten the Chiefs. So I think that next game between the Chargers and the Chiefs later in the season is really going to be a very important game.